P. Diddy's trial this week. Cassie says she'd give all the money back if she could erase the things that she was made to do.
Right.
But she also says she loved Diddy, her abuser, her trauma bond, her whirlwind.
Uh-oh.
So what do you do with that when love and abuse become wrapped into the same breath? Do we call it weakness? Do you call it trauma? Do you call it fame chasing? Or do we finally admit we don't know how to hold space for victims who don't run when it got bad?
You are listening to Ladycat Lifelines podcast.
Your safe space for mental health, self-care, and well-being.
Okay, everyone, I'm Will Jones. I'm here with Tyra. We're back.
Life has taken over a little bit, but yes, we deep diving into the headlines, the heartbreak, the truths that make stories like Cassie. It's hard to ignore at the moment. It's hard to ignore the P. Diddy trial that's gone on. Even though I'm like, I try to stay away from it, but I guess. Even the algorithm will keep hitting me with it until I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention. Sat down, had a little listen, and it is all very weird. It is interesting. So where we are at the moment, P. Diddy's trial this week, and
P. Diddy, bad boy.
What's that? Sorry.
He was a bad boy. He ran bad boys, and he was a bad boy.
Yes, absolutely. But there are so many aspects to it. So for me, I have had the opportunity to sort of read and listen and also have a think about the whole Cassie Ventura, who's his ex, once rising R&B star, long-term girlfriend of P. Diddy, Love, Sean, Puffy,
Daddy, or whatever he was. I don't know.
Yeah, so she gave sworn testimony. This is not hearsay, guys. So it is sworn testimony in a federal trial. Yeah, in a federal trial, alleging abuse, control, trafficking, and deeply disturbing acts. And one thing that stood out for me is Cassie says she'd give all the money back if she could erase the things that she was made to do.
Right.
But she also says she loved Diddy, her abuser, her trauma bond, her whirlwind.
Uh-oh.
So what do you do with that when love and abuse become wrapped into the same breath? Do we call it weakness? Do you call it trauma? Do you call it fame chasing? Or do we finally admit we don't know how to hold space for victims who don't run when it got bad, who still fight for the person who broke them?
I'm sensing that we're trying to make a victim into a martyr. She can give the money back. So to say, I wish I could, when you can, or you can donate the money, she keeping the money. So that's kind of...
what she's going to do? I think what she's going to do with the money.
But we're also saying she was in love with him and he did what he did. And that's horrible. But we feel horrible because he got people drunk. He took advantage of people. And he was doing a lot of male gay stuff to people who wouldn't have done it. And that is what we're kind of really mad about. We don't want to make Cassie... It's horrible what was done to her. But that's not the main thing that's going to bring him down. And I don't want to make her the female victim when she says things like, I still love him, which she doesn't, but she is trauma bond.
Yeah,
and
but
I wish
I can get a money back,
and she can.
Yeah. So for me, it'd be like things that actually, things that we know, things that shook the internet, things that shook a lot of people right to the core. Is she said she this is the person. She's actually said this is the person that's broke me. And then in one of the text messages, I remember reading one of the text messages to him from 2016, I think, it did say, I am not a rag doll, I'm someone else's child. And then she's gone on to speak about being absolutely broken, absolutely being traumatized by this man, right? But then on the stand, she told everyone that, yes, she still loved him.
And what do you? Okay.
So my
What do you do
take
with
on
that?
it, huh?
What do we do with that? She's
Yeah.
saying both things. So I think we should ignore her because she obviously isn't able to make decisions
What
because
do
he
what do you
has
mean we should ignore
traumatized
her?
her.
Okay, I think so. For me, I think okay. So I want to give. I hope people get from this segment is: do we finally admit that we don't know how to hold space for victims who didn't run when it got bad, who still cry for the person who broke them? You know.
No,
So
no,
let's dip.
we
No,
can't control
so
people.
today we're deep diving into the contradictions, the headlines, the heartbreak. It's like so hard to untangle, but it's so important to unpack just to kind of get an idea of what happens. What happens, especially we want victims to be clean cut, all knowing, all fierce, all fire-eyed, all teary, all like, oh yeah, oh, I'm broken. Now I'm just this person. But we are talking a real life situation whereby I'm saying, she is the same man that she says destroyed her. She also mourns.
Loves, right?
This isn't unusual in abuse cases. It just is uncomfortable, I think. So,
It
like I
hurts.
say, yeah. One thing I've realized with the victims of domestic abuse is, there's a lot of confusion. They're still like, you're probably still in love. You're still loyal to someone who's broke you. But my question to you is, why do women stay even when it's hell? And let's talk the truth. And it's not, to me, in my understanding, my experience, it's the good women, the loyal people that stay. I'm saying like there are some people that I'm like, I've spoken to people that people like, why did you stay? Why did you stay? Because I would think, a lot of people, I'll think that you know better. I think that you've got better choices. I think that you've got better options out there and you've got better mindset. But you see these people that are normally quite intelligent women, pretty
Okay.
women,
So,
together women, they stay.
from what you're saying, pretty women make better decisions or they make worse decisions? I'm not sure. Okay, let me just take it from the point of abuse. Abuse looks
Yeah.
just like non-abuse. We don't know. We can't control what you do. You have a relationship with someone, and I don't get to tell you what to do. You do whatever you do. Afterwards, you're either crying about it or you're happy, but it's
No,
you.
but abuse,
So
yeah, I know, abuse
it
is
looks the
abuse.
same. That's the problem. It looks the
Let's
same.
not sugarcoat abuse. Abuse is abuse. Okay. If someone is
Abuse
treating you
looks
bodily, if someone is forcing you to have FOs, if someone is like beating on you, if someone is not giving you hope, if someone is not your safety, someone is there's an element of grooming in the Cassie story, and someone is knowingly creating a trauma bond.
well. Okay. If we're talking about Cassie, are we talking about? Because normally that's an extreme case. Puffy
is
was
it
definitely abusing her. I'm not saying that. You were asking why is it that women stay? And I
yeah
was only pointing out that because a relationship is kind of abusive anyway. It's a thin line. We don't know where that line is until
hmm
after the fact.
hmm
Cassie case is an extreme case.
Yeah, but
Of
there's so
course,
many
you know
cases
that's
out there.
bad.
Abuse. There's so many cases out there. Abuse doesn't have to be. Doesn't always have to be someone beating on you. Doesn't have someone to be someone.
Right.
There's so many components that make up abuse. So literally, what I'm saying, what I'm saying, what I'm hoping we do here is have like unpack the complexities that make people stay. So my question to you was, why do women stay? Why do women stay?
Why do men stay?
Okay, okay, so today, because we are focusing a little bit on Cassie, I just want to know why in your opinion, why do you think women stay in abusive relationship, toxic relationship? There are so many, so we'll have a deep dive into so many schools of thoughts. I've read some really damning things about, what people think, what people say about people.
I can speak on why I think women in particular stay in an abusive relationship, not Cassie, because I don't know why she stayed. But I would think, once again, I would say the same thing, that abuse looks very similar to love. So we don't know. We don't know until after it happens. So for example, I cannot control what you do. Therefore, I have no say so in what you do, what you decide. If you decide abusive things, I have nothing to do with that. I can't tell you don't go with him, he cheated, or don't do that. You do whatever you want to do.
But okay, talking from a woman's point of view, what I would what I would tell you is women don't stay because they like being abused. They stay because sometimes leaving feels like drowning, because the cycle of violence and abuse is usually laced with sugar. There is abuse is confusing. It's confusing. There is the charm, there is the threat, there's the guilt, there's the
wait,
the silence. Yeah,
you're making men the bad guy. I understand, but you're saying that
I'm taking it. So as a woman, and I'm talking specifically. So I brought to the table about Cassie. Everybody, the world's eyes are focused on Cassie and Diddy. Well, a lot of people that know what's going on.